Hello. So someone asked me recently to do a video on auditioning, I think it was, and it was like, tell us about your first audition experience, because I think this person wants to get into acting. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of that, a little bit of an idea of how an audition works. So if you have an agent, then ideally what'll happen is your agent will do the like submission part. So they have your headshot, which is just like a photo of you. It's like roughly like kind of the framing of this frame right now, and it just sort of captures who you are as an actor and a person and all that great stuff. And then that photo is sent in with your resume to submit you for auditions. And so casting directors will get like a rap sheet essentially of like, these are the characters that we need to cast for. And they'll get like character descriptions, so like a description of who that character is. And so the casting director's job is then to like put it out to these agencies to be like, I'm looking for someone to fit this role. Can you submit any clients that you have or any actors that you have who you think would fit this? And they do. They send in any actors that they have on their roster. They'll like submit all of their information, and then the casting director will come back and say, okay, we have an appointment booked for Brittany Raymond. She has an audition time slot on Monday at 3 p.m. Here's the information. And you get like a breakdown of like the project, and then like the director and all of like the producers, the writers, like you get a breakdown of everything, and then like a description of what the movie or the TV show is about, and then a character description as well. You get a character breakdown, and then you also get attached what are called sides. So it's essentially just scenes from the script. It's not the full script, it's just like a few scenes that your character that you're auditioning for is in, that they want to see you do, to kind of see what you'll do with those scenes and see what you'll do with this character. That's essentially what an audition is. You take those scenes and you prep them, you try and get off book, which means memorize it, so you don't have to like have the sides in your hand to like read off of. I mean, now today it's a lot different. All auditions were kind of the same, where you go into the casting office, the casting director's office. It's usually like there's a little mini waiting room where you sign in, and then you wait. You wait until they come out and they call your name. Now this process is my least favorite part. This section right here, where you're sitting in the waiting room, and usually you see how it could be one other person, it could be 50 other people, so it can be kind of intimidating. And then usually the casting room is either right off of the waiting area, but it's not as scary as you think. Like, it's intimidating and it can be nerve-wracking, but it's important to not let those emotions get in the way of your performance. Then the casting director's assistant or the reader will come out and say, they'll call your name, oh, Brittany Raymond, we're ready for you. You walk in, they ask you to do a slate first, which is just speaking directly to the camera like this. You say your name, your height, and the city that you're in. Sometimes they ask you for your age. If you're over 18, just say over 18. That's my go-to now, because I am over 18. Then we start with the scene. They say, all right, good, let's start with scene one. The casting director will say action, or they'll say whenever you're ready, or they'll say something, and you just kind of go into the scene. Some casting directors would much rather you come in, you do the scene, you leave, because it's easier and faster for them. But I think it's important for you to state what you need for your audition. So if you need a moment from your reader before they say their first line, or if you have the first line, you can take that moment before you say it. It is so important to take the time that you need in the scene. You don't have to be quick. You don't have to like try and barrel through it. You just need to calm down and live in the moment and let it come to you. That's kind of the best kind of advice I can give in terms of combating nerves, because for me, nerves would get in the way. My first audition, I was trying to be word perfect. I was trying to barrel through it really quickly, and I ended up messing up the character name that I was speaking to. I kept on, I think his name was Derek, but I was calling him Daniel. And I did it 3 times. The casting director was kind enough to be like, would you like to do it another time? You want to do it one more time? And I was like, yeah. And then finally he was like, okay, thank you, bye-bye. And obviously I did not book that, but I'm happy it happened, because obviously you have to have a few of those under your belt to understand what it feels like to be uncomfortable in an audition. And it's so important to not be hard on yourself afterwards if you don't think it went well, because here's a little secret that a lot of actors will agree with me on, is that 90% of the time, whenever I do an audition and I felt kind of weird about it after, I was like, oh, I don't know how that went. I don't think I did very good. I get a call back or I book it. Like, I swear to you. And then every time I feel so good about that audition, I don't hear anything back. It's so weird, and that's just a good, and sometimes it flips, sometimes it's not always that way, but like, that's just the perfect representation of like understanding that the only thing you can control is how you feel in that moment about what you're doing right then and there. And then directly after your audition, debrief with yourself in the most unbiased way possible, so you can understand what worked and what didn't, while being, you know, not self-critical or self-deprecating or down on yourself. That is where it gets kind of into this hazy place of like, oh, I'm terrible, I'm an awful actor, which is not true. You wouldn't have gotten the audition if you were a terrible actor. That's why a lot of the times actors will kind of feel really weird about the audition process, because, you know, for me, it's something I've had to learn how to do, is like, and I'm still learning how to do, is how to take that audition and use it as a learning opportunity rather than just pass or fail. It's a lot of rejection. I think that's also the biggest thing, is that you have to have incredibly thick skin. Sometimes the rejection is not directly to you. It could be, you know, that you're trying to go for an audition and you don't hear back about that role for at all, or it could be that you come this close to getting the audition and then it goes to the other girl and they already saw a girl with longer hair and she was great, so she's gonna get the part over you. Like that, it could be that too. Like it could be your eye color, it could be that your eyebrows are too thick, it could be a multitude of reasons that are out of your control. And that's something that I always try to keep in mind as well, is that the only thing that matters is that you prove that you are a strong actor and you are capable of handling these kinds of roles. That's what you're really trying to accomplish. You're trying to sell yourself as an actor, so that that casting director or those producers or that director watches your tape and says, ah, she's not right for this, but I like her. I'm gonna remember her name. I'm gonna keep her in the back of my mind, so that when I have that next project, or oh, I'm actually casting for this other thing, let's give her an audition for that, she might be perfect for this. Or this role might not be good, but there's another role in this project that we think you'd be perfect for, can you read for that instead? It happened to me with Dare Me. I auditioned for Emily and then I ended up getting the role of Corey. I hope that helped a little bit. If anyone's out there who wants to be an actor, if you like these kinds of videos, comment something down below that you want me to talk about next, and I'll see you in the next one. I've never done an outro before.